So, I mean, I hate to be the one to rain on everyone's parade about this, but there are a couple things from IAPA that I want to talk about here. So, first thing is Falcon's flight. So, I mean, I hate to rain on everyone's parade, but I'm not so sure that it's going to be what you think it is. So, the first thing I have to say is it's in Saudi Arabia. I mean, I saw a tweet about this that basically said that Six Flags Qiddiya has released the rider requirements for Falcon's flight, and one of them was riders must be straight and male. And, considering that it's in Saudi Arabia, I mean, I'm still genuinely not sure. Is that tweet satire or not? Because I mean, I mean, someone also tweeted about, in the replies, there was a tweet about how at IAPA, someone observed, hey, they put the seats far enough apart that so to ensure that there would not be any sort of homosexual thoughts. Like, someone replied to that tweet with that as a joke reply, I assume. But, I mean, I don't know, is it a joke reply or not? But, I mean, this isn't just to talk about how impossible it's going to be for a lot of people to get to Saudi Arabia, because, I want to be queer. No. Well, I am queer, but I want to be clear. So, that's a funny blooper there, but I want to be clear. There are a lot of queer theme park fans. I'm someone who's worked in the industry, so I can definitely say that for sure. So, as a queer theme park fan, as someone who's transgender, I mean, you think there's any way I'm going out to ride Falcon's flight, given how dangerous it is for someone like me to go visit Saudi Arabia? Not a chance. Not a chance. Not a chance in the world. But, I mean, even if I let all of this go, there is still one thing about Falcon's flight that I think a lot of people are overlooking. A lot still has to happen for the thing to open. Remember Hot Go Dream World? Remember how they have 2 fully built coasters that have just been sitting there since 2015, and the park has never operated? Remember Hard Rock Park, that was built with as a very ambitious theme park, but it was never able to, but it closed after its first season, and its coasters ended up getting sold to existing parks in Asia. You can't just, I mean, the phrase Rome wasn't built in a day, that very much applies to theme parks. I mean, even the most let's build Rome in a day theme park with Energylandia, I mean, I'd say that they're kind of a, hey, let's try to build Rome in a day kind of thing. But even they opened with, hey, here are a bunch of family rides that they still have. So it's not like people locals who started going to the park with those family rides were not able to still go to the park, but they got those built first. They opened the park, and then over the years, I mean, it still feels weird to say over the years, they built it up, but because they've done it very quickly. But even Energylandia has taken, they made it so that they could open the part of the park that was presumably the least expensive to build. They got that open first so that they could prove to investors, hey, we know what we're doing. Hey, we have a park open and we want to expand it. And then suddenly expanding it becomes very reasonable to anyone who might be looking to invest in it. I'm just talking the business sense of it. But if you're hey, we're just gonna right off the bat build the world's tallest, fastest coaster without any sort of thing about, hey, this is this is how that's gonna happen. Like I mean, if you want to go to, like, if you want to talk about the early 2000s, like, I mean, ironically, Six Flags, like, look at some of the parks that they built up that got rebranded as Six Flags parks, like New England, for example. They took an existing park and there was a racetrack that was there. They removed the racetrack and expanded the park with building rides like Superman and that put the park on the map for coaster enthusiasts. So they took an existing park and built it up rather than being like, "Hey, we're going to take a we're going to build a whole new park that's going to open with a record-breaking attraction that that nothing like it has ever been built." Like I mean, even if, like, what happens if Six Flags Qiddiya opens and it turns out that, hey, Falcon's Flight can never operate because when you build up that high, you always are going to have to deal with situations that make a coaster unable to operate. Like, heck, I'll just say when I went to Carowinds, Fury was fairly temperamental with wind. So, when you're talking about something that's going to be twice as tall, how do you think that's going to fare with the wind? You think it's, like, I mean, it's going to be more temperamental than Fury is. And, like, I mean, Fury was pretty temperamental with the wind from what I saw when I was there. So, yeah, it's like you're talking about a coaster that nothing like it has ever been built. It's almost twice as tall as anything that ever has been built. If you like, I mean, it's twice as tall from as any of the coasters that are not the strata coasters that are one-trick ponies. It's twice as tall as anything like that, and that isn't like that. And it's not being built as a one-trick pony. It's being built as the longest coaster in the world that isn't an alpine coaster, so not at all a one-trick pony. So, and like, I mean, it's just going to be super temperamental with the wind. I'm just telling you. So, like, I mean, what happens if the park opens and then the attraction that people come from all over the world for, assuming they can get into the country and safely visit, the attraction they come from all over the world to experience for just isn't available. Like, I mean, what else is there in that country? Like, I mean, I remember years ago, like, I mean, I don't know what the status of this user is, but I remember Canada Coaster Fan did a thing of the best coaster in every country represented in the World Cup, and for Saudi Arabia, he mentioned a Vekoma Boomerang. So, like, I mean, we're talking about a country that had a Vekoma Boomerang be mentioned as potentially the best coaster in the country by a coaster enthusiast. So, like, I mean, that should tell you something about what else is there out there. So, like, I mean, it's assuming you can get in and assuming and get in safely and assuming you can go to that park. Like, I mean, we're talking about a park that's advertised as having less than 10 coasters. So it's not like there's only 3 that are even listed as extreme on the roller coaster database. So it's like you might want to round out your lineup a little bit. Like, I mean, I'm just going to say from a business standpoint, build a Giga and build 2 other big coasters that will spread people out a little bit, because, like, I mean, Falcon's Flight, like, I mean, people would be just as excited if it was like, hey, we're building a Giga coaster and we're getting and we're also getting a launch coaster that's going to be a one-trick pony. We're getting a and let's see what else. And we're going to get let's go all out and say an Intamin prefab. Let's say, because, like, they seem to like Intamin at Six Flags Qiddiya. They seem to, with a lot of the coasters that they're getting, they seem to like Intamin. So let's go all out and say an Intamin prefab for a wooden coaster instead of an Infinity Flyer that I don't know what that's only listed as thrill. Let's say you got an Intamin prefab in a similar vein to El Toro. Like, I mean, do you not think the park would be better with more rides like that and still having a super tall, super fast, awesome coaster like that, but not going all out like they did with Falcon's Flight, because that way, if one happens to be down, there are others that people can go to. It's like, I mean, that's what I would say from a business standpoint, but just from a being excited about it, I mean, like, you do realize what country this is in is all I'm gonna say. So it's like, you realize what country it's in. They don't seem to know what they're doing from a business perspective. And, like, I mean, I don't think it's gonna work out like a lot of people think. I'm just gonna put it that way.